I'm John Marable. I broke my back at the age of 11 in 1967. I fell off a cliff and I've been using a wheelchair ever since. What I like about martial arts is the mental strength that it gives me, the ability to do what I want, not having necessarily to ask people's help. I would hope that I've inspired people to be stronger, and I'd like to think every one of my black belts has got the ability to inspire someone. Our biggest enemy is ourselves, our mind, because our mind stops us from doing things. So I'm trying to make my students mentally stronger. And the fact I'm in the wheelchair just means my legs don't get tired. I got interested in the martial arts initially from my father, and he used to talk about mind over matter. Unfortunately, no one in England would teach me karate because I was in a wheelchair. It wasn't until I came out to New Zealand that I found a club that would actually take me. The instructor said, "Come along, if you think you can do it, join us." And that was in 1975, and I've been doing karate ever since. People ask me, do I teach disabled karate? If you want to call it anything, I teach mainstream karate. I do have some students who are disabled, but I don't teach them a disabled or watered-down karate. I teach them something that they need to know to make themselves stronger, both physically and mentally, and I also teach them skills that hopefully they won't have to use if ever they are attacked. Shugo. And tete. All blocks should be fast. That's good. Control your breathing, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Breathe into your diaphragm. I've been teaching karate since 1980. Knee. Do not twist your shoulders. I live a lot of my karate through my students because I can't kick. Well, actually I do, but they're too fast for anyone to see. In fact, my karate instructors have never blocked my kicks. That's how fast they are. People ask me, how do I teach my students how to kick? I'll actually verbally describe it. So I'll tell you to stand with your feet shoulder width apart. Don't lean back, once more. So I'll visually describe what I'm trying to verbally say. Your left hip is going to be back. You're going to be driving it through. Don't over-twist.
He gets the other black belts to show us. So he's always demonstrating on them.
And see, he comes in nicely.
They get beaten up quite a bit, which is quite good for us to watch.
Rubbing my knuckles into here, so into here. Okay? Walk it. Whichever.
The fact that Sensei's in a wheelchair, to me, doesn't make a difference. He does everything that we do. He'll get down and do press-ups on the floor, and he'll challenge anybody. He's pretty up there.
Here is like a burning sensation. When we're working in karate, we work up to your skill level and a little bit, so we're pushing you to lift your skill level higher and higher, and also to build and condition you up. So have a play, okay? Be gentle with your partners. And I say to my students, I'm going to treat you as you're going to be treated on the street. I'll tell them to hit me, and they won't hit me. I'm saying you're being disrespectful to me. By that, I mean you're being disrespectful because out on the street, the bad man's not going to take it easy on me. The elbow's going down, and that's coming up.
Everything that John teaches me, I think about all the time. There are things that happen, and I think, oh, John says to do that, or we do that in karate.
So that's wrong. Strong, 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 okay?
I'm often thinking about things that he's taught me and adapting that into my everyday life. He can adapt anything. He has a fantastic understanding of pressure points. He's got a great cheeky sense of humour, plus he's very serious.
Good. Fast turn. My club is just like a family. We're all brothers and sisters. I haven't got children, but I've got so many children who train with me, and sometimes I feel like I'm the grumpy father making them do things. That's not a press-up. They're faster, harder. Get in there. Hey. Yo. Yeah, it's good. One of my top students is Lee Hart. He's a lovely guy. I think I'm really honoured and proud to call him a friend.
We're good friends. We have had some heart-to-hearts, but ultimately the relationship mainly is on that martial arts side, but it's kind of enough, if you know what I mean. It's a big part of both of our lives, so it's a big part of our relationship. The first time that I sparred with John, I was a little bit cautious. I realised pretty quickly that this happens to be in a wheelchair. And as a person, he's just a great guy. And from the sensei side of things, just someone that I could really aspire to because of this. We've got similar ideas.
He's a great person to work with. When I do demonstrations, I'll grab Lee. Literally, I'll grab Lee. He's a black belt in judo, and I know I can throw him. And he trusts me, I trust him. We were fighting the other day, and afterwards he texted me and said, "We've got good control, haven't we?" You know? And that's the thing, our technique's going in hard and fast, but we're pulling them. I pride myself as having good skin control, so I can actually stop when I feel the skin, and Lee's pretty much the same. A lot of people call me gorilla or albatross because I've got very long arms. And I'm 6'2", and people forget, because I'm only about 5'1" sitting down, and people forget I'm a tall person.
In the chair, he's lower, which helps, the centre of gravity. He's just long arms. Once he gets a hold of you, what he's doing, you don't have a chance to grab. It could even be a tickle, and that is enough for a distraction, and then it's all over. Before you know, there's other hand somewhere else that you don't want it, and he said, "Sorry, you're done."
What keeps me interested in karate is there's always room for improvement. I'm a 6th-degree black belt. I'm classed as a beginner. I go and train with 70-year-olds who are 8th, 9th dans. Thank you. Have a good night. So these 8th and 9th dans are being told that they're still juniors. And so I'm always looking at them thinking, I want to be the best I can. First thing I do when I get up, I go and have a pee. What I do is use my catheter. When I first learned I was going to be using the catheter, I was thinking, what's this? And I mean, nowadays it's almost normal. That means you can actually go in to use the bathroom, as long as you can get your wheelchair in the bathroom, of course. When we built the house, we decided that we weren't going to put handrails in or make it look like an accessible house. The reason being is if I do a lot of travelling, if I'm used to having handrails for this, shower chairs, if I go overseas and I can't get an accessible room, I would struggle. I do like challenging myself, so an OT will come along and set up my desk so everything's within hand reach, but as soon as they've left, I'll make sure everything's out of reach, so I've got to keep moving, got to keep exercising. We get frustrated, everyone does, you know. A good friend of mine, and I met her after her accident, and she said, "John, I'm having one of those days, everything has gone wrong." Nearly fell out of the wheelchair, then my legs started doing their own thing, they were spasming, and I started calling them all the names under the sun. I said, "That's normal." And she said, "What do you mean?" I said, "The fact is, you haven't accepted the fact that they are your legs, so you still have to love them." Thank you. And she said, "Do you feel like that?" I said, "Yes, I do." If you're going to swear at your legs, whatever, just make sure that none of your friends and family are around because they're going to think you're funny. But, I mean, we all get annoyed. Your hair doesn't go the way you want it, you know, you're getting frustrated. Everyone has these issues. So I've got the Zoom meeting at work. I met Nicola, my wife, 1980. She's tolerated that I'm hardly ever home. She tolerates my mood swings. Have a good day. I come from Essex and they use the F word a little bit. I drop the odd F-bomb occasionally. You know, when I drop the toothpaste or my razor or whatever and I don't dwell on it, I get it out of my system, bang. Something that I know really frustrates her, they say, "Oh, Nicola is your full-time carer." No, she's not my full-time carer. In 1967, my brother and I, we were on holiday up in Scotland. My brother and I thought we'd try and climb a cliff, and unfortunately the cliff gave way. I fractured 3 vertebrae, T5, 6 and 7, and they pinched the spinal cord. Just about straight away I was paralysed from my chest down. It resulted in me spending 9 months in Stoke Mandeville Hospital where I had my 11th birthday. So Stoke Mandeville Hospital, where I spent 9 months, it was already a hospital pre the Second World War. And this German Jew, Sir Ludwig Guttmann, he saw that the spinal cord injury patients were just stuck away in wards and left to die, really. They didn't know how to treat them. And he said he felt that if he introduced some form of rehabilitation, some form of sport, that it would give them an interest. And yeah, just about from day one of being in the wheelchair, I learnt sport. One of the things they told me that the fitter you are, the healthier you'll be, you'll have a better quality of life. And that's sort of been my mantra ever since. I can still pick up a bow and know how to shoot an arrow. I can still swim, still play table tennis. And it was great. And that was one of the reasons why I cut the handles off the back of my wheelchair, to stop people from pushing me, because I like to be independent. Sir Ludwig Guttmann, or Papa, as his nickname, he was the one who started the Paralympic Games. They were initially started and called the Stoke Mandeville Games. Their symbol, instead of 5 rings, was 3 wheels, and it was sportsmanship, friendship, unity. Paralympics doesn't mean paraplegic, it means alongside. Unfortunately, I've never made the Paralympics. I've almost been close and I've had an injury or torn something or something's happened, but you know, who knows? I'm on the long list for table tennis next year, so I've got to get my bat out and practice daily. The very first time I was in Okinawa, I didn't see any other person in the wheelchair. I think a lot of people had never seen someone in a wheelchair doing a sport.
When we go to Gashiku, which is like a training camp in Okinawa, and people just gravitate to him now. And he likes the attention, but he's humbled, and the people show respect. Twice that I've been to Okinawa with him, I've done self-defense demonstrations with him. In 2012, when I come back from Japan and was looking to start a venture in the disabled community, I got a hold of John.
Slowly, 1, 2, 3. When Lee asked me if I wanted to be involved in the Budo for Disabled, I explained I wouldn't be able to come along that often, but I'm more than happy to help when I can.
Budo Culture for Disabled is a martial arts group. We're just a group of martial artists that want to give back. And we know because of especially traditional martial arts, there's a lot in there that can be adapted or manipulated a little bit to suit individuals. All right, here we go. Just here. Went to John and just said, look, how do we start? What do we do, you know? And that was from a physical point of view. I mean, we've learned over the time with intellectual. Fingers up, push it out. He volunteers every Saturday and he is there as often as he can. Don't forget the push-ups.
We've got such a range of disabilities. I personally treat them all the same because I know what it's like in the real world. People will talk down at you or won't even talk to you and things like that.
One more time. Finish him off. We've learned over the time of doing it that it's not only beneficial for our students, but also for us. We've learned a lot as volunteers and also for the caregivers. There's been a lot of friendships developed through the whole system.
I can have the most terriblest morning. I get there and just looking at the pure enjoyment the students are having, it's just wonderful.
I think what drives John is sometimes to prove that I can do it. He talked to me one time about when he meets people for the first time, they sort of talk down. He's in a wheelchair, maybe he must be intellectually challenged, so they'll talk louder or slower, and he does not like that. I think that is in there as well to prove that he's just as good as you and I type thing. I can do what you do, don't talk down to me.
Society's reaction to disabilities has sometimes given me the drive to prove them you're wrong. I'm sorry, John, you can't do a marathon. I used to do 100 Ks a week, and it'd be great because I'd see someone up in front of me running, and I'd catch them up, have a little bit of a chat, and I'd carry on. Morning, ladies. Not today, so I'm a bit late. Been busy. I work for Living World Disability Resource Centre. Anyone popped in to see me yet? We used to give information out. So you'd come in looking for some information. Could be where do you hire a wheelchair, would tell you. We also have got a retail shop where we sell appliances, equipment, so people can maintain their independence for as long as they can. Something else I do is I look at building plans. When you're looking for consent to do any building, you have to have an accessibility audit. What I do, I look through the plans and just see that they are complying with the rules and regulations. So I give a recommendation as that doorway must be 760. However, best practice or universal design is to do this or do that. Yeah, good day, David. It's John here. How's it going? One of the most frustrating things I see is the same mistake, doorway. You're supposed to have a little side panel so someone in a wheelchair can open the door around their wheelchair. 9 times out of 10, it's missing. Everything's looking good, and you'll get consent. It's just to be good if there's an opportunity. If we could get a wider door, say, for example, into the changing area, it would make things a lot easier. When I do an accessibility audit, I treat it as my journey. So as soon as I get to the front door, I'm looking at the front door. I'm then looking at the ground floor, and it's my journey, everything I see. By law, I'm supposed to go to any building and use it for its intended purpose. Unfortunately, quite often you can't. Also, this job is more about training people than looking at plans. And I've had dealings with architects where we've done a post-occupancy check. They said they wish they had done that the first thing.
We'll check the tactiles and see what you think of those. And
then what we'll do is we'll measure the angle there. Looks a bit good. I deal quite a bit with the councils, and we were having a look at a new roundabout. Did you see that? Look, I think they've got
one tile. Yeah.
Talking about accessibility issues is like talking a different language to people who are unknown. So when you look at the roundabout where you can see the drop curb, yeah, that's good, it's a ramp. However, if the gradient is too steep and my footrests are too low, I'm going to hit the pavement or the road, and now I'm going to tip out my wheelchair. I mean, that is 15.75 degrees, and it should be around 1.8. Yeah, 7 degrees.
Okay.
So I'm just going to mark a note. Nice camber here.
Well, that drain's a lot shallower than the one on the other side.
I mean, that's perfect. We also have the tactile ground indicators so that someone who's blind will pick it up with their white cane. They're supposed to be set in a certain pattern so that someone with their cane knows that this is where the curb's going to be. It should be 300 back. Yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes the tactile tiles are put too close to the curb. If you've got a guide dog, the guide dog is trained to be between the tactiles and the curb. Certain places, the dog will actually be on the road, which is no good. Yeah, 700.
700, yeah.
Yeah. So they really need another tile. Put another couple here. That's a bit close.
That's far too close to the curb, yeah.
I was out there the other day looking at crossings, and we noticed that some of them were too close, then some are too far. If it's too far away, they're going to be wondering where the curb is. So all these little things you're looking at, saying, have they got it right? So, I mean, there the dog will be right on the corner. Have they got a guide dog?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Excellent. No, that's good. One of the first sports I started at St Mandeville Hospital was table tennis. I learned very early age that it was a sport I could play competitively against my able-bodied friends and family. I was the only wheelchair player, so I'd play for 1 year and then I'd have a break for a couple of years and then the passion would come back. So it's something that I love, I enjoy, and the fact is I do like beating able bodies. You'll see someone taking it nice and easy on this poor guy in a wheelchair and I just... Oh, no. I was trying...
Even that one's going across.
Yeah.
So just take a minute and reset.
Ben Duffy, he's one of the top New Zealand players. He does the odd coaching for me because I've been lucky enough to be on the long list to go to the Commonwealth Games.
Keep watching. Stick to the game plan, mate. straightforward. Nice, simple swing like you're doing now with your backhand.
Yeah. Today, we're going to just be working on my backhand. I've developed some bad habits. I haven't really played much since hurting my shoulder last year. Oh, no, that was miles away. Unfortunately, playing against someone who's standing, the trajectory of the ball's slightly different. So it's great that I'm able to compete and play in Dunedin against able-bodied, but I then have to change my style of play.
Getting in the right position first.
Yeah.
For you, it's not obviously moving your feet, it's just trying to adjust your chair so you can...
Yeah. I borderline class 3 or 4. That means I've got no real stomach muscles from my chest down. So I'm playing against guys who've got some stomach muscles, so they're a lot more able to keep their balance. So if I lean too far, I'm going to fall out my wheelchair. That's where the gorilla arms comes in. So I don't have to fall out my wheelchair to get the ball.
Keep watching.
I was caught between... It's a great sport that anyone can play. In the recent Paralympics, there was a guy with a bat in his mouth, you know, so that's where the motivation comes from. You can't do something, I'll find and show you where you can. Also, because I've never made the Paralympics, I'm now starting to picture myself winning that. So it's all about visualisation, which comes from the martial arts because we've got to visualise when we're doing the techniques. So they go hand in hand.
That's good. Don't be in a rush to hit it.
I'm going to be doing everything I can to make the grade. A lot of people say you're not normal. This word normal is thrown around so often, and what is normality? What's normal for me is not necessarily normal for other disabled people. I can't do things that able-bodied can do, but I'll find a way to do things. And I think that's the way that sometimes people focus on what they can't do instead of focusing on what they can do.
He doesn't take the easy way out, and he doesn't need to. From the martial arts point of view, he's the ultimate in passion.
Some people ask me, is there a feeling you get when you're doing this, even after 40 years, what drives you? And I think it's the buzz. It's the adrenaline rush, it's the endorphins kick in. I suppose the high is the fact that if I don't block that punch, my face is going to get split. But it's just knowing that you're pushing yourself, it's that boundary. And society's reaction to people with disabilities has sometimes given me the drive to prove them you're wrong.